Well, it says we're live, so okay. Welcome from the crossroads of America. This is a 1 hour talk show, Shooting with Disabilities. That's what we're going to start with. But we also talk guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience, either in the chat or by email at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have a Patreon page and PayPal and all that other good stuff down in the info section below. All right, let's have got an active chat tonight. Let's see who was first in. Gun Loving Grandpa, Kingpin, Mystic Guns, Patriot in the Dark, G23, Defense Dad. They're all starting to pile in. Kingpin. So there we go. John Brown Productions is here. So anyway, I'm hoping everybody's here now. So let me introduce my panel. Up here in the corner, I got Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
Pretty good, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Okay, then I got Will and Well Armed.
How you doing, Rick? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Then we got the man, the myth, the legend, Patriot in the Dark.
Good evening, everyone.
I tell you, Squib does not like your hot dogs.
Well, and he cooked them connected. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
And he ate them on wheat buns.
You meant to cut them before you put them on the grill.
What American besides Rob eats anything on a wheat bun?
Yeah.
But
hey.
yeah, they are an acquired taste. They're not a hot dog. They're a Vienna. So they got all sorts of twigs and sticks on them or something. I don't know.
Anyway, then we got New York Outcast. How you doing? I think you've become
sorry, doing well. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, I think you've become the worst gun law state in the country now, after your governor today or yesterday.
Yeah, possibly.
Then we got from the hills of West Virginia, we got Rich. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, I don't know. There's still Hawaii out there where, at least depending on what part of New York you're in, you can actually get a permit. Nobody in Hawaii can get one.
True. All right, just real quick, couple of things. Southpaw RX is in the chat. I didn't realize this. I must have missed it, but as of July 1st, now this is asinine. As of July 1st in Indiana, you no longer have to pay for your life CCW or your 4-year one. All you got to pay for is fingerprints because that's a third party that does those. Can you believe that shit? Why don't we just have constitutional carry? If they give them the permits away free. I just
Probably
think it's asinine.
For reciprocity in other places that don't have constitutional carry, I'd imagine.
I mean, I understand. I mean, see, that's where people go wrong. Every state, even though they go constitutional carry, I think you'll find every one of those states still issue CCWs for that reason, for reciprocity. I'm not saying Indiana get rid of them. I'm just saying if the resident of Indiana gets it for free anyway, why don't they just make it constitutional carry? So that's what I was thinking. Anyway, what I was gonna is that Squib Load? He's joined us. How you doing, Squib?
I don't know. How well can you hear me?
Pretty good.
Well, then I guess I'm doing all right this time.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was reading an article today. I think I've read it before. It's not new. It's on a website that I go to occasionally. Now, I thought I'll bring it up again. It's been a couple of years since I've talked about it, I think. It's from a website called, Pew Pew Tactical, talking about self-defense handguns for those with a disability. He goes, as long as the shooter retains fine motor control and some upper body strength, these I think he's listed about 5 guns here should work. And here you go. Let me list the 5 for you: a Ruger SR-22, a Beretta
Debatable.
21A Bobcat, a Ruger LCR-22 with Crimson Trace laser grips, a Smith & Wesson 351 PD Airlight 22 Magnum J-frame, Beretta Model 81 FS Cheetah. Is that it? Oh, and of course, a Glock 19. And yeah, that's it. That's,
So a bunch of 22s and a Glock.
Yeah, well, I mean, if somebody's got real weak hands, a 22 is better than not nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's like that skit they used to do on Sesame Street. One of these things doesn't belong. you got a bunch of small 22s and then a Glock 19 and 9mm.
Yeah, I know. But
Who wrote this article? Pussy McPuss?
well, it's for just people with disabilities with might not have good hand strength. Be able to hold it up, I guess. Let's see who did write it. Let me have a look. Does it show? That's all right. My computer's freezing up.
I'd say the revolvers, they might be on to something, but the SR-22, I know several people. Well, I know a couple personally that have had issues with it. Whether it's limp wristing or whatever it is, they doesn't seem to function properly when others do, even higher caliber. So it could have just been a small sample people have experience, but obviously a revolver you kind of can't go wrong with. It's a heavier trigger though, so depending on finger strength, that might be an issue.
I'm sure this is just a starting point, because they're just saying disabled, so it doesn't. I mean, that could be anybody, and they can probably handle something bigger, but to start somebody, that I don't know. Does it go into what they're disabled? I mean, somebody that's a 70-pound old lady with arthritis, which I don't know if she could, she could probably hang on to a cheetah, but that's a really small gun for, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. This exactly what he's saying there. I mean, you got, say, a 70-year-old guy with arthritis and walks around with a cane. He's got arthritis in his hands and fingers and stuff.
I'm sure this
might be the thing to go with.
I'm sure it's written by a young whippersnapper.
Well, I just looked at the article. The article's about 4 years old to start with, but I said it was an old one. But it doesn't have a who wrote it on there. I just looked, so maybe he took his name off after all these years.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say it's kind of weird that they don't have the gun that Smith & Wesson expressly designed for handicapped people.
Oh, the EZ, like I have. Yeah, absolutely. I know it's not on there, but
yeah. Well, with it being 4 years old, that's why.
Yeah, well, I was just bringing up. I was trying to come up with some topics for tonight, and we covered this before. Has there been an improvement in the instructors industry to have more instructors teaching disabled people? Because there's a lot of. If you look at how many people are receiving Social Security, which is quite a few million. I'm not saying they're all gun owners, but there's a good population there that could be missing out because they can't find anybody to train them. That's what I was thinking. I was looking for a website today. Maybe I wasn't clicking the right buttons, but there was a list somewhere of instructors that teach disabled people. I know there are some. I mean, like the lady I used in Rhode Island, she didn't have a problem with it. Teaching me and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, we've done this before. I mean, I think an instructor will teach you if you talk to them. Maybe not. They might not want to have you in a class with a bunch of other people, but they might teach you one-on-one. It's always, you can ask. Personally, myself, I would go to, if I was looking, I would go to your local gun store and ask them if they know any instructors that teach people with disabilities. Because a lot of these instructors use the gun ranges and stuff to teach.
When you say teaching somebody with disabilities, I'm thinking about somebody in a wheelchair or somebody who's blind. I'm not thinking about an elderly person who has normal elderly problems. So you might say, well, technically they're disabled because they got the handicap placard, they can park where they want, or they get, I don't know, maybe extra money or something for being disabled. But I mean, that's normal. I'm old and I'm falling apart stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, would you expect a 70-year-old who has all the old age symptoms, as you claiming, and the course is going around up to FBI standards? Can you see him getting on his knees and shooting 25 yards around a corner? If he got on his knees, I doubt if he'd be able to get up.
I guess your idea of a course and my idea of a course are two different things.
Yeah, I don't think somebody, in that age or whatever, the typical person would be even wanting a course like that. More than likely, it's probably be more just basic defense, operation, function, all that type of stuff. Maybe standoff. Somebody's, approaching you at your car outside the grocery store type things. More than likely.
A lot of verbal commands is what I've been taught. Keeping people back when you're getting in your car, especially just keep an eye on people, being more watchful.
Oh, yeah.
Really, they grew up watching Starsky and Hutch, and they want to slide across the hood. But
let's say, why would somebody elderly want a training course like that in the first place? Because, like Rick said, they're not going to be able to get up possibly, or they're going to be very slow, things like that. And really, I think it would be a waste for them. They should be training for real world situations that they're going to encounter most likely throughout their day to day.
Some people who take those classes at that age have never handled a gun before, or haven't handled a gun in a long time, or it's only been a rifle or a shotgun a long time ago, and now they're afraid and they want to feel safe in their home. They're not looking to get a concealed carry permit. They're not looking to be tactical. They just want a handgun for their house. They want to know how to clean it, maybe. They want to know how to shoot it, not like an FBI agent, but just know how to shoot it. They're not looking to understand terminology like grains and magazine and stuff like that. They just want to, and they maybe want to know some of the basic laws, what they're allowed to do. And of course, that person teaching a class can sell them all kinds of crap they don't need, or can give them the names of a lawyer to keep on retainer, all this other stuff. When I was at Bass Pro Shop at the beginning of this whole Coco thing, before the masks and all the other BS, there was an elderly couple in there with a shopping cart and a list. And I know damn well where they got the list from. They got it from the class they just took. You could tell both of these were clueless. He was worse off than she was. If he didn't have that cart, he'd be falling over dead on the floor because he was so hunched over it. And they're going down the list, and it's everything that the firearms instructor told them to buy. And they just, and the kid in the store is trying to sell them all kinds of crap. And I mean, they were like, we got to get a gun safe for this one handgun we bought that we can't get ammo for, and it's just, I couldn't believe it. It's like, you guys have made it this long in life. I understand a gun isn't a priority to everybody, but now you're suddenly scared and you want to feel safe in your home. And this is what you've got: a class that you probably paid way too much for, and a grocery list. And then at the 11th hour, you think you're going to find this stuff, and it's just whatever.
that is a good point that you bring up there, Squib, because most states, we have our local organizations or whatever. And I know with MCG. I always mess that up. RGO, MCRGO. They have that section about their instructors, but then if you go through that list, there's a bunch of them that is basic home or whatever it is. So they actually will come and kind of work with you at your house, and you can contact them and say, hey, you know, I got this issue, or I'm like this, whatever. And they actually have classes that they'll just do, you know, walk you through just for being at home, not driving down the road, shooting, you know, out in public, just what you would need for, I guess, home defense. So there are a lot of classes like that. And if you just, I don't know, I guess if you can't use the internet, because I guess from what I hear, there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to operate the internet nowadays.
I'd argue that some elder people probably would carry, and in some cases do carry. I've, you know, personally came across some back when I was at one of the local gun clubs that I would have lost money if I placed a bet, and they're pulling more guns out of their pockets than I've ever seen, and have been carrying for years. Happy to tell me everything about it and give me tips or whatever. Really nice people, but it's just a way of life to some, I think. And then when you see all this crap of elder abuse, things like that going on, if that was kind of in your, you know, life prior, it might be more likely for you to want to carry now. But I'd also see it, you know, an advantage for a class where there is people elderly out and about, disabled, that want to carry for protection, so they don't get just knocked out for the hell of it or whatever's going on, depending where they live. Obviously, it's not like that everywhere, but you know, I'm sure everybody would agree, old and disabled criminals see as easy victims. So, and now that criminals are just basically given a free pass, I'm sure it's becoming more of an issue. So, you know, something like that probably wouldn't be a bad idea if there isn't already. And also, I'd add maybe even something where you kind of, part of the training is, you know, you stumble, fake almost an injury, or catch your balance, and that's how you draw your gun. Like something like that, like, you know, play into what they perceive, you know what I mean, can be part of the training as well. So, but that's, you know, a whole nother conversation.
Somebody's trying to join this chat, and he gets in and gets disconnected straight away. I have no clue who it is, because it just says fellow gun tuber. So
I would just add, make sure you call ahead and you can talk to the instructors. And if you can't, then you might not want to go to them. You know, say, hey, I feel, you know, the first time, whatever. I mean, just like that, you know, just a basic course of just operation or whatever. I mean, I don't see people going to crazy, you know, jumping off and going in one of those crazy courses just first time
well,
out.
I was using that just as a
yeah. Well, no,
example.
the basic thing though is, you know, like I did. I mean, you know, I wasn't going to just show up and expect them to, you know, oh yeah, no problem, just sit right here. You know, I talked to, you know, bunches of you know, trainers or whatever you want to call it for, you know, the training, but talk to them first. You know,
well, that's
especially
what
on
I
the
was
phone,
saying.
they're not gonna go, oh yeah, you know, and then they find out, you know, after you show up, you know, I mean, talk to them, ask questions.
I mean, I would like to see more instructors, you know, advertise the fact that they do disabled classes and stuff like that for the disabled, you know, because I think that will get a lot more people to go to them, especially the people who are getting up in age, or even younger ones, but are disabled, you know. I mean, I guess, I mean, there is certain, hell, I don't want to sound like I'm being discriminating to anybody, but there is some who are really, you know, bad disabled that might take more than what an instructor can do, i.e., somebody needs a special setup to shoot his gun because he's, you know, paralyzed in both arms or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
if somebody specialized in that, they could really cash in if they gave them the whole, ensemble. If there's something that you can sell somebody who's disabled that will help them in order to hold the gun or shoot or whatever, I guess like an arm brace or some sort of pencil mount for your wheelchair or whatever you got, then if you could do that as well, then I think you could complete the whole, the objective of the person that's coming there for training. They're going, this is great, but I can't use this. They go, that's all right, we've got this. The problem is there's so many of these people that are instructors that prey on people's ignorance. They prey on their lack of knowledge. And it's like, oh, you should never do this unless you buy mine. Then it's okay. And then people go, oh, okay, you've been doing this for 2 whole years. You know so much more than me. Yes, here, take my $500 for your $5 item. But and I'm not saying all instructors are like that. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of them that are like, that's all they're there to do. This is a business. And I'm not saying you capitalism is wrong. It isn't. I mean, this is our country. It's business. And if you're a sucker and you let somebody take your money, then you're a sucker. That's just. But the thing is, ethically, or if you want to say I'm an instructor and I'm pro 2A. All right. Well, if you're pro 2A, then try not to take advantage of these people. I know you're having a bad month this month, but figure it out, or go get another job, or I don't know. But I think that some people don't know they're getting taken advantage of with this stuff. And there are other times where you've got somebody that really can sell you everything, the gun, the holster, the purse, the arm brace, or whatever the heck it is with that, and still make a profit and stuff, but they're not trying to exploit you, but yet these other people might give them a bad image. I think for the new person out there, the novice has no idea what they're getting into in some cases.
There's a FFL I use, and they've got this active training center, and he's always, every time I go there, he's always trying to get me in, and he's always like, I'll give you the first hour half off. And I'm like, well, how much is half off? He said $125. And I'm like, are you insane? I'm not a police academy. I mean, there's no way I'm going to afford $250 an hour. I mean, you'd be pressing your luck to get $50 an hour out of me. What the hell? I mean, I don't care what you got there. I don't care how much your equipment costs. It's going to sit there because I'm never going to pay $250 an hour. I won't pay $125 an hour. Yeah. It might be the greatest thing in the world, but there is nothing I can learn in 1 hour that's going to reprogram me to shoot better. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not willing to take a chance on $125.
A great thing, because I was contacted by a lady in Nebraska, a blind individual, and I actually reached out to Sandhills, and he got me in contact with a lady there that has her own shop. She's got a trainer. She does all sorts of stuff, and got them connected. And she's actually, I believe, opened up or was going to work on a class for disabled, and including
that's what I'm talking about.
Individuals. Now, and that was something that I guess she was thinking about, and then obviously getting in contact with this person, it might have helped it along. I haven't checked back or anything, but so yeah, that reaching out and talking to people, because a lot of people, that's just like anything, there's a lot of guys out there that are trainers that would be happy to do it. They just never been faced with that question.
So I got
never had it put in their face. So, oh, sure, I could do that.
Yeah,
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Has anybody considered becoming a trainer to train persons that have a similar disability that you currently have?
I haven't even thought about it. I guess because I don't think I don't know, good enough. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Say, I can understand that. I got the idea. Last year I got an email from USCCA saying, become a certified trainer. It was just something I never thought about, but then I did get to thinking about it, and we sit here and we talk about needing trainers that are going to train disabled people and how hard it can be to find trainers like that. And I was thinking, another hurdle that persons with disabilities often have to overcome is just finances, and maybe not being able to afford a trainer to go over those things. And the class itself is something that I need to save up for. Then there's some logistics issues where I will need to figure out how to get down there, how to go back and forth from the range and all that. Plus, I would need to contact the USCCA and say, hey, if there is a qualification where I need to shoot a certain number at 25 yards, I don't know if that's going to be possible, but this is what I want to do. So, like I said, there's a few things I need to look into, but it's just an idea that I've had over the last year that I'm kicking around.
I've been in contact with a gentleman out of, I believe it's Ohio, and he's a blind guy, and he's an NRA instructor. So I don't know what his vision is. I mean, but there are guys out there that do it. But the thing I would throw up as far as being a trainer, that's why we're on here. How many times have you been contacted by people? All that stuff helps. This is, not necessarily this show, because you got Rob on here and Squib messing with everybody, but
the normies.
I'm just picking on him because he's picking on my hot dogs.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, was that you keep trying to come in and out of this chat?
Nope. I got in first time I tried.
Okay, somebody's been trying on and off since we started for the last 30 minutes. So I don't know who it is. It's somebody, I mean, it's got to be one of the 20 people I send an invitation to. I know that, but which one, I have no clue. So, all right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's getting that kind of training. I mean, like when I mentioned this before, when I had mine, I done what Patriot said. I called up, and I actually saw her advertisement. I was looking online for people on this, and she offered the whole package. It was I think it was an hour and a half or hour 45 minutes for $160. But she said all I had to do was show up. She supplied everything from hearing, the protection, the firearm, the ammo, the time on the range, the targets. I said all I had to do was show up. And but when I called her up, I mentioned to her that I have a disability, with a bad back, and at the time it was my left hip that was on the way out. And I said I got a bad left hip, so I can't stand for a long time. She said no problem. She says we can start off with a 22 and go from there. I ended up carrying a 45, but then of course, as everybody knows, I didn't realize that at the time when I started the course with her. I'd done one course with her, and after that is when they operated on my hand and screwed it up. And so I had to make it. I called her up and said, "Can you retrain me to shoot with my right hand?" That's how, because I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself in those days on firearms. So that's what I did. So I mean, have you? Did you have any problems like when you got put into a wheelchair? Well armed?
The first 5 years after I was in a wheelchair, I didn't shoot, and then one day a friend invited me to the range, and I couldn't get into the range. It had steps, and so then I kind of got determined to go to the range. So I found a range, and then I guess I started shooting. I had a Glock from before my accident, and a couple of revolvers and some other stuff. I had a high power as well, and then I started going to a regular range, and it burned down. And then I started having to find another range, and then I ended up with Sharpshooters USA. So that's kind of it. But I never went through any training. I grew up shooting.
Okay. So I mean, but because didn't you? I mean, isn't one of your? But what I'm saying is, your arm movement is not. I mean, didn't you worry about that when you started, or you just figured it out yourself how to shoot again?
I didn't have much hand strength on my right hand, so I started shooting left-handed immediately, and then after I got rid of the Glocks and started going back to metal guns, CZs and different types, I started making better triggers and getting guns where I could shoot right-handed. So because you can't really turn your wheelchair and hold a gun, and with the same hand and maneuver a wheelchair, you have to really be able to shoot with both hands in a wheelchair to be able to cover 180 degrees or greater. So you have to be able to pass the gun from left hand to right hand if targets were moving or you had multiple targets. So I taught myself how to do that.
Oh, okay.
But you don't get to do that at the range. But I do, reposition the chair and shoot, straight out at 3 o'clock and at 9 o'clock and at 12 o'clock.
All right. So I don't know. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat. I'm trying to figure out why Gizzard Gary was put in timeout. Nobody's been able to answer me. So it might have been a mistake, hit the button by mistake.
Yeah, I think DJ may have fell asleep on his phone because every so often he keeps timing out Gary. I'm sitting here watching. I'm just sitting here laughing. That's why I have it unmuted. I'm laughing too much because it's like every 10 to 20 seconds, Gary's getting muted.
He got a call on Echo's chat and kept timing me out. At least that was what he said. I don't know.
All right. Well, what about Patriot? I mean, did you when you finally lost your sight? I mean, did you still have no problems about picking up a firearm and shooting it or anything like that?
No, not as far as shooting it. Hitting what I wanted to hit. That was something to overcome. Because there was a span. I don't know, of a few years in between that I didn't have firearms. I did a divorce thing and moving around and stuff, so I didn't even have the collection I have now is I mean, there's a couple old ones that I've got back or whatever, but everything it has been since I've been totally blind. So, but yeah, as far as how they function and stuff, no, that's all the same. It's just obviously knowing what I'm shooting at.
Yeah. And I noticed. I mean, we've said this before. You still use those little buzzer things.
Yeah, now and then. I mean, that's the main one, especially if it's a new spot or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm shooting at distance and that, but still plates are fun. Yeah, it's just I mean, it just takes a minute, and that's one of the things I like is having that challenge, because that's kind of spurs you to adapt and.
all right. Okay.
Patriot, do you shoot with partners that tell you higher, left, right, that kind of thing, or not?
If it's rifle and we're doing some, because obviously, at distance, 100 yards, I'm not going to hear, exactly where it's at. So yeah, that kind of thing is with a spotter or whatever. But that's I don't shoot rifles very often, but when I do, I drink black coffee.
Oh, I thought you might. Did we lose him? Oh no, he's there. I thought you might eat Viennas. Yeah. So, all right. Well, what about guns and barbecue? Have you been able to transition from your sight, going to shooting, or did you have to have help?
Um, honestly, since losing my vision that first year, I think I told you guys, I stopped caring altogether because I wasn't sure how I could go about it. I wasn't sure about legal ramifications, etc. So for a year, I didn't carry. Then I didn't like that, so I started carrying again. But I have the issue where I have trouble finding a ride to the range. So honestly, I think I've only shot 3 times in 3 years now.
Yeah, I mean, but if you got to the range, can you do it by yourself, or you need somebody to be with you at the range?
I would like to think that I could do it by myself, but I still have the aspect where I want somebody to say, "Yeah, the range is clear. You're facing a safe direction, etc., etc."
Okay.
That way I don't have any accidents happen. Then I recently got some reactive targets from Clover, which I'm actually really excited about because 2 years ago when I first shot after having the severe vision loss that I did suffer, we were shooting some gallon water jugs, and I was shooting my Detonix 45, and 6-7 shots in a row, I was just pegging it, and I just skipped it across the ground, and I noticed that the movement of that target helped me track it. Movement is something that helps me pick up on things. If it's stationary, it's really easy for something to stay in my blind spot and me not pick it up. So just going off that muscle memory and having that movement, I was actually, like I said, able to track it and 6 or 7 shots in a row, just skip it across the rock pit that we were shooting in. That was pretty exciting.
So you're like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You don't see stationary stuff well, but you can follow movement, and you have small arms.
Yes, and my brain's the size of a walnut.
That is funny though. You can actually try that too. If you're in a pitch black room, you sighted guys and gals. But if you have no light in there and you focus, like turn the light off or have it on and you focus across the room at something, and then you close it, your eyes will drift from that location, right? When you turn it back on, you'll be looking higher, lower, or off to the side or whatever. And that's something that I deal with a lot, and that's why I really pay attention when somebody's talking. And so I'm always looking them in the eyes because I, just practice and whatever. But it's when I first went blind, I would talk to people, I wouldn't look at them because why would I need to look at them? I can't see anyway. But that change of realizing, hey, people like you looking at them and all that with bad guys and all that kind of stuff too. But if you do that in the dark, you'll kind of see that even if you think you're focusing in one spot, they will drift.
Well,
so if you can't see, that movement does.
You need to put the Roy Orbisons on when you're talking to people.
No, I will not. The only time I wear sunglasses like that, or sunglasses period, is if I'm walking outside in a place I don't know, so I don't get jabbed in the eye with sticks or tree limbs or something. But yeah, if you don't like my cool Luke eyes, that's on you. I don't buy into that whole wear sunglasses thing unless it affects your eyes sensitivity wise and stuff, but it doesn't affect me. So
yeah,
but that's a whole nother story.
Yes, it is. All right. Anybody got anything else on this kind of topic? No? I just thought I'd come up with something today instead of going straight to politics and stuff like that. But
Well,
yeah, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, I've got a question for Patriot, and honestly, we could all probably answer this one. But so Patriot has often told us about for him to go, okay, this is a lethal defense situation where I'd have to draw my gun. It's got to be hands-on. So something that just popped into my head, and I don't know if we've ever addressed it or not. If so, maybe I was not here. But Patriot, did you change the way you carried? Often I hear people argue that appendix carry is so great because if you've got an assailant on top of you, you can still get to your gun easily and put a couple rounds in them. So did you possibly change from a 3 or 4 o'clock position to appendix, or maybe a shoulder rig or anything like that?
No, I still carry most of the time at 3. It depends on the holster, what firearm, but no, I don't, because I don't really stand out looking like I have a firearm anyways. And with me, obviously, if I'm out walking around, I have a white cane. So last thing on there, a bad guy's mind is going to be, hey, this guy with a cane walking around, is going to have a firearm to protect himself. I've never really thought about it.
The bad guy thinks you're going to have one, but let's say you get knocked down, the person's on top of you, and maybe you're on your hip or something. Having that accessibility with the appendix carry.
I'm still going to carry in the same spot because I don't have a problem with going hands to cuff or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
So I don't have a problem if somebody's grabbing onto me. I'm more apt to just deal with a situation like that. I'm not that's not my first option. That's the last option, and I would rather take somebody's eye out and bust a rib or two before I worry about pulling a gun out.
Also, with that though, what I'm thinking is, what happens if somebody comes up from behind and knocks? You said anybody could answer this. I carry at the 3 o'clock position a lot of times, but actually I've moved it a lot forward. I'm more at I don't carry appendix. I'm just, what would you call appendix? 12 o'clock?
Like 1:30.
Well, I'm more of a 2 o'clock now, right? Because of my shoulder. I bring it if I don't. But where I'm going is, what happens if somebody knocks me on my stomach from behind? You know what I'm saying? With the appendix carry, like you were saying, if somebody knocks him on his side, he ain't going to be able to get to it. Somebody knocks you on your stomach and your appendix carry, and you're not going to be able to get to it. It's one of those things. But what I was going to mention, and I forgot what it was now. Damn it. I was so excited, I forgot what I was going to talk about. It had something to do with that. Nope, it's gone. That couldn't have been that important. So there we go.
Yeah, and I remember Wield, he would mention, how he has those different Sneaky Pete holsters that he puts on his chair, which, another thing with his disability. Yeah. And how he carries.
Oh, that's what I remember what it was now. We go back to that, and problem is, I've mentioned this. I think I've mentioned this to Patriot before too. But as he said, it's a very last result before he pull his weapon. But you got to be careful if you're using a semi-auto. You got to be careful if you're that close. If you're pushing into somebody, it doesn't go out of battery.
Yes, there's a gentleman. His name is Rodney. From PA here. He's another blind shooter that had reached out to me, and he was looking to get a Glock 43, and I was like, all right, well, why the Glock 43? And we went through this whole rigmarole, and I was like, well, how much vision do you have? And he said at this point he was lights out. And I was like, okay. I was like, so you're going to be similar to Patriot, where if you're having to draw, you're already at the point where you're hands on. So I was like, there's some things to consider here. As like, if you are to a point where you have to literally try and create separation between you and this person or anything, and you shove a semi-auto into their chest, at any point, if it comes out of battery, it's not going to go off. And so it's like, you might want to consider a revolver. I was like, I'm not trying to push a revolver on you. I was like, just something to consider. And he really did a lot of homework. And it was like 2 months later, I heard back from him, and he's like, I think I'm going to go with a 442. I was like, cool. I was like, what made you think of that? And he really ran through his whole breakdown and everything, but just that idea of the situations that he could find himself in, he had never considered. He was going with a Glock 43 because 20 some years ago he had a first gen Glock, and so he was just like, I had a Glock, so I want another Glock.
Yeah, those Glock people are something else, aren't they? Yeah.
Also, you could get a big flashlight that protrudes out the front. That would give you room.
Yep. Well, some manufacturers are actually making a guide rod that actually protrudes out a little bit to help with that.
I've seen a spiky butt guide rod too.
Yep.
Mm.
That manufacturer Clover had on, I don't know, a couple of years ago, that honor guard.
Yeah, honor.
I think it was that.
Honor,
It had
yeah,
somebody-
honor defense and their pistols, the honor guard. Yeah.
Yeah, they had the frame actually extends past the slide just for that reason.
Yep.
So that it won't come out of battery. I've never dealt with them. It was just that, and then checking on them out online or whatever. I've never seen one, but
Yeah, if you look at the Taurus G2C, I think they do it on the G3 as well. The guide rod is rounded off at the front and it sticks out past the barrel.
I never noticed. I don't know one, but I've never noticed looking at it that it does that. Huh. Yeah, that's one thing that you got to. I said that's just another thing you got to worry about if you're doing the close-up stuff. Is it being out of battery? But anyway,
Get a Beretta. Barrel sticks out. Stick it right in them. Pull trigger.
that's right. We can't go wrong with Beretta, any model. So. You bought any new ones lately, Jason?
Nope.
Actually, believe it or not, I started to watch a Hickok 45 video the other day because all I saw was the thing, Springfield Ronin, but it was a 10 mil. It was a 10 mil. He was shooting, And I thought, well, that's okay. It's better than a 9,
What'd he say about it? He'd like it?
Yeah, he liked it. Yeah, he did.
The Springfield 1911 was the number one selling pistol on Gunbroker last month.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single solitary gun that Hickok doesn't like.
That's why he's getting paid for it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't. Well, no. He has. Well, I don't know if says he doesn't like him. He gives him a hard time. His guns, like Rock Island, out of the Philippines. He gives what's called a hard time.
He doesn't.
What's the name? The big clunky thing.
High Point.
High Point.
Hickok doesn't like a 1022 either.
No. So, I mean, there's not many he doesn't like. You're right. But
Suits likes everything, I think, right?
What?
Yeah, Suits likes everything.
Oh, he likes everything. But I noticed though, I guess he never gives the thumbs up anymore like he used to in the early days. He would either be a 1 thumbs up or 2 thumbs up, but he doesn't do that anymore.
Thumbs way up.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I know what I want to tell you guys. Totally off topic. Totally nothing to do with guns whatsoever. I called the vet today about my cats because the veterinarian won't write any more scripts for my diabetic cat until he sees him because he ain't seen him for 2 years. Which, I mean, I can understand where he's coming from. So I called him up and I said, look, because Indiana law, even though it's an indoor cat, they've got to have a rabies shot. So I said, I need 2 rabies shots, one for each cat. I said, I need a rough, ballpark, rough figure how much it's going to cost me. She goes, they're $25 each. I said, oh, okay, that's good. I said, now, the doctor wants to give him a blood test to check his sugar level. I said, that's the reason I'm coming. I said, how much is that? She goes, now, this is only a ballpark, she goes. I said, okay. She said, $200. I said, how much? I said, all you do is checking his sugar level. No, there's more to it than that. We gotta check make sure nothing else is going wrong inside, like his liver and his kidneys and everything else. I went, Jesus Christ. So I'm looking minimum $250. I'm thinking around $300. I thought, Jesus Christ. I'm gonna have to excuse the pun, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet next month and pull give me a good chance to lose some weight, won't it? I have to pull the old belt in a bit tighter, cut out some of the good stuff. Might have to not go to Debs every day.
Forego the blood test.
I don't think the vet won't give me a prescription. That's the reason he won't give it to me. He says, I want to test him.
Find a different vet.
Well, then look how much it's going to cost me because a different vet will want to go through all the other stuff to make sure that the first vet, it cost me even more.
Just go to Farmer Supply and get it yourself.
Yeah, I wish I could. But unfortunately, insulin here in Indiana is prescription only for animal or person. Now, it wasn't. Now, when I lived in, believe it or not, when I lived in Rhode Island, insulin for your cat was not. I could walk into Walmart, go up to the counter, and say I need some. I reel off the brand name to them. They hand it to me. $25 a bottle. Same price here, but I got to have a prescription here to get it. And unfortunately, it's got to be refrigerated. Otherwise, I would ask my friend to send it to me. Call him, ask him to mail me some in a padded envelope. Or is that against the law to sell drugs across in the mail system?
No, it's not. I mean, you can buy pet meds. There's all kinds of websites online that sells pet meds.
Yeah. Oh, G23 says pet insurance. I've looked into that. Unfortunately, because he has diabetes is an existing condition, they won't insure him. And that means anything along like the blood test is to do with his diabetes, so they won't cover it. I looked into that already. I did find one pet company that would insure him and cover it, but it was $62 a month. Hell, I don't even pay that much for my insurance. Well, I do through Medicaid. I'm talking about my supplement.
Depending on if you count your dental and your normal health insurance, you probably do.
Yeah.
Because dental is normally separate from health insurance.
Well, actually, no, my dental comes under my what, because I'm on Medicare, which is $148.50, I think this year it went up to for me. Then I have a supplement I have United Healthcare Complete Plan, and that's an extra $19 a month, and that includes dental. I get up to $1,000 a year dental work, and I get vision on that. I get eye tests are free, and I get $250 every 2 years to either buy a pair of glasses and lenses or contact lenses. So it's a pretty good deal I got, really. But damn, I thought the cat. I mean, it's it just. But if you have a pet, you got to pay the price. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't going to give them away. So there we go. I just wanted to mention that. That was.
Hey, Rick, after the chat, let me know. I might have some.
Oh.
Just send it.
So that's who just joined us.
Hello.
He's already talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's that, and what else we're going to talk about?
Whatever
Hey
you
Rick,
want.
there's two websites: Pet Meds, 800 Pet Meds, and then there's another one called Pet Shed, and you can buy cat animal prescriptions on there, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
Something to think about, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. But oh God.
So Rick, I'm mad at you.
What?
Said I'm mad at you
Why?
because, like I said, I've been eyeballing those Ronins, but I wasn't having that much interest because I know finding one used is going to be like pulling friggin' teeth. So I've been searching hard for one used, and it's like pulling friggin' teeth.
Yeah, I'm looking, but I'm not looking hard. Because I really don't have the cash to do it. But God, I would love one. I really would. They're a sweet looking gun. So anyway,
They only come with one mag, right?
do they?
Yep. That's what Hickok 45 got.
I didn't watch it all the way. I only watched the first 10 minutes of it. So, Anyway, what else I was going to mention? Oh, yeah, I'm having... I'm not having grilled cheese tonight. I'm not having hamburgers. Guess what I'm going to have?
A big bowl of mac and cheese.
Salad.
No. Actually, it's a lot of you going to turn your nose up. I got some rolls today, and I'm gonna slap some bologna on there with a slice of onion. Have a couple of those for dinner.
Doesn't sound bad.
Nah, you need to make yourself a good roast with brown sauce and some Yorkshire pudding. And
actually, I for the 4th of July Sunday, I actually, believe, as hot as it was, I done roast potatoes, and I said it's been a 5-week month for me, so my freezer's about empty. I had a chicken pot pie in there, so I done my chicken pot pie, roast potatoes, and Brussels sprouts, and put brown sauce over it all. And English
rolls for a bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like it's excess starch to me.
What's the difference between a roll and 2 slices of bread?
Nothing. Just
3 times the amount of bread.
No, it's not. These rolls are smaller than a slice of bread. They're not as they're not. The roll is not. If you took the roll, it would sit inside a slice of bread. So it's smaller.
I just finished up a char burger. It was excellent.
Yeah. But talking about mac and cheese, I was watching a British show the other day. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was sort of like a light humor British show from because I subscribe to BritBox. And I can't remember what show it was, and I can't remember how they got onto the topic. But this guy said, "Yeah, I was married once." He said, and I could forgive her. He said, I came home one day. She had left me a note saying, "I'm leaving you and your dinner's in the oven." He goes, I forgave her for running off, but when I opened the oven, it was mac and cheese. He said, I couldn't forgive her for that. I was laughing my head off thinking of you guys,
Yeah, speaking of British TV, you need to follow a channel called the Tank Museum. It's the Tank Museum over there in Bovington. They got this guy on there, David Fletcher. You would absolutely love him, Rick. He's got that dry British sense of humor when he's talking about the tanks and stuff. He's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's educational, but he makes it funny too at the same time with stuff with his little quips. You know, the British dry sarcasm.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got that nailed down, man.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, it's 8:00. So it's about time for me to be winding this down. You know, so
Already? Wow.
yeah, I only run for an hour on Wednesdays. You know, last week we ran for an hour and a half, I think. You know, so but OG23 says bangers and mash. Yeah, that's pretty good too. That's sausage and mashed potatoes, by the way. If anybody's interested.
Yeah, I've had it many times.
Yeah.
But remember, my dad's side of the family was British, so yeah,
Yeah.
I've had all that stuff.
Yeah. And on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, you eat Bubble and Squeak. That's
What?
Bubble and
Bubble?
Squeak. Bubble and Squeak.
Bubble and squeak.
How it got its name, I do not know. But
Because it squeaks when you chew it.
because normally you have your Christmas meal. You have like because in England they have roast potatoes. They don't have boiled potatoes like Americans do. They have roast potatoes, right? They have roast potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and that kind of stuff. They chop it all up, mix it up, and fry it, and that's Bubble and Squeak. You know, so just saying. That's yeah. Oh, we were having a discussion down the diner this morning between grilled cheese and cheese on toast. They understood where I was coming from. You know, but they thought Welsh rabbit was a funny name for cheese on toast. But
Yeah, but what do the Welsh call it?
you know, hell, I don't know. Cheese on toast, more than likely.
No,
Yeah,
they
but in
call
Welsh.
they called it English rabbit.
Call
They
it
call it
grilled
English
cheese.
rabbit on toast.
Yeah,
Cheesy bread is what it is.
yeah, yeah. They were saying, "Don't you like cheese?" I said, "I love cheese." I said, I don't want people to. I mean, I don't. How can I say it? Say if I go through McDonald's and get a sausage and egg biscuit. I don't want sausage, egg, and cheese. Cheese is not a morning meal. I'm sorry. It's an afternoon or evening thing. It's not a morning thing.
No, hell no. You're the guy that screws it up. So you go through and order a Big Mac and then there's no cheese and you're like, what the hell? And you go back in and you're like, well, you should have said cheese. It's supposed to come with cheese. It's America, damn it.
Hey, no. I was saying if I order a Big Mac, I take it with the cheese. But like I'll order, say, a quarter pounder, and I'll say no cheese.
On the menu, it's quarter pounder with cheese, man.
You know,
Yeah, or sausage, egg, and cheese.
You know, I go no cheese, so they have to make it special. That way, I get it hot, not one of those sitting up on the rack for hours.
How do you have an omelet without cheese?
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah, you're right.
An
An
omelet?
cheese is disgusting.
No, the cheese
It's
in
gotta
the
have
omelet.
cheese.
Oh my goodness, that's healthy.
Oh,
Great way to get rid of some leftovers.
I
too
told you
sometimes.
cheese. I mean, I guess I could put up with the cheese if I was served an omelet for lunch or for an evening meal.
What about
But
a cheese
but
Danish?
cheese is
man?
not a breakfast item.
Cheese
Are we cheese
Danish.
Danish?
Come on, cheese Danish.
Are
You
we
You
sure
never had a
Rick's
cheese
not
Danish,
Chinese?
Rick.
He's clearly communist.
You said you're American, but you've never had a cheese Danish. Try
Who
one
are you
first.
working for?
It's a different type of cheese.
Yeah.
It's like a cream
Somebody
cheese
ran a
almost.
background check on this guy. Good Lord.
I know, right? It's like he came straight from the KGB. Oh, wait, they're calling it the FSB now.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that's just the way I am. I've never liked cheese in the morning. Just never been a thing for me.
You aren't doing it right.
Yeah. So anyway, let's wind this up. Before you guys decide to come over here and take my AR-15 away from me because I'm not American enough.
You got a quiz question?
Oh, yes, I do.
Thinking
I
about
do. And by the way, talking about AR-15s, you see that how my AR-15 is suspended in space back there in front of that picture I got hanging on the wall?
Witchcraft.
That is
Cheesy.
from rldisplays.com. It comes with a wall mount, which that happens to be, and you can't see it. And it comes with a desk mount, which is the one sitting on top of my toolbox. So, rldisplays.com, and for a 15% discount, write in Rick's Life as the discount code. So there you go. Just thought, in case you guys like to have one of those hanging on your wall. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. We might get this to go for another few minutes. I know it's political, but when the government comes knocking on my door asking me why I haven't been vaccinated, can I point a gun at them and tell them to get the hell off of my property?
No, I don't think that'd be a good idea.
No, I don't think you can.
I would just say leave the premises. You're trespassing, and close the door.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to come to you. That was just Biden and his administration talking out of their proverbial backsides.
Well, they mentioned it again today.
They're going to.
Yeah.
Just tell them, make an appointment. Not today.
Yeah. Oh, Giza Gary says, someday when I'm rich and famous, I'll have a mount from R&L displays. Yeah. So. Anyway, what was I discussing? What were we discussing before I just changed, totally went?
The question.
About the coming to check me because I haven't been vaccinated.
Right.
Yeah.
So who won? Who won the Saturday one? Do we know yet?
What was Saturday? The quiz.
Yes.
The quiz Saturdays. Yes. Was it last Saturdays?
Yeah,
Yes.
Jerry Parker won it. Then he gave it back, and then AR Guns 1776.
Yeah, our guns won it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this week's quiz. Well, not this week's. This is for when is it? Next Saturday, which will be the 17th for the swag packet. It's a good one. This one has one of those lanyard things where you can put your name on it and all that kind of good stuff. I think there's a couple of patches in there and stuff. And I think it's easy, but I'm giving very few clues. I'm only going to give you two. It's World War II, and what I want to know, it was called Operation Chastise. I want to know what it was and who performed it, administered it, whatever you want to call it. That's what that's it. Email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Get it in to me by 12 noon on the 17th, I said, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, 12 noon Eastern time, the only time zone that matters. And so there we go. Yeah, that's unknown user. Good point. He said, what I'm afraid about when them come knocking door to door, they say it's only for informational purposes only. We're talking the government here. It might be a conspiracy theory. I know some people don't like those, but
if they do come to your door, and I doubt they will, because it's there's too many houses in this country they send everybody to.
Well, here's a conspiracy theory. It's way out there, but it's something that's on my mind. Tell me I got nothing to worry about. is I got a feeling they're going to force me to take it by saying, well, if you don't take it, we might have to stop your Social Security.
They can't do that because it's still considered an experimental drug, and it is listed that you cannot coerce or push people into taking something that's experimental until it's passed by the FDA or whatever.
But you hear what they said today.
I don't care. No.
That's what they said today. The U.S. government is not mandating vaccination passports, but they encourage companies and businesses to use them. I tell you, I mean, I don't give a shit what they're saying. I think somebody here said it, or I said it. Everything they accused the Republicans of doing, they're doing themselves. You know, hey, come 2024, they're going to say, well, we're not doing elections anymore. We're in charge, and that's the end of it. Boom.
Well, they already tried that with HR1.
You know? So, yeah. But anyway, let me wind this up here because I don't really want to talk politics. It just gets me annoyed. I just want to enjoy my bologna and onion sandwiches or rolls, as I like to call them. So,
you mean your flat hot dog?
Yes, basically that's what a cold flat hot dog. You know.
Well, fry that bologna, man. Come on.
You know, I like bologna, but you know,
fry it up. Right. Put a little butter in the pan and fry that bologna up a little bit.
You know? Cold bologna tastes like a cold hot dog, but if you fry the bologna, it does not taste like a hot dog.
It depends what brand bologna you get.
Yeah. Anyway, Patriot in the Dark. You got any plugs or shout outs?
Yeah, I didn't get any emails from those that wind as Rich probably says. Yeah, last weekend.
And I didn't write down the winners.
It was Oz and Pink. I don't remember either. So if you won, email me. Also, I haven't mentioned it, but I finally got three new designs on a spread shirt. Optics are a fad. Good guy, and what's the other one? Legalize Liberty. So those are the new shirts out there if you want to check them out. If not, doesn't bother me. So make it a good week.
Okay. New York Outcast. Any plugs?
State I like that legalize liberty. That's kind of a catchy one. Other than that, I'd say skip. For everybody else out there, don't follow Rick. Eat something healthy. A salad, something would be nice. Other than that, have a great evening.
Okay, fine. Rick, throw some tomato and lettuce on there, and you got yourself a salad on a bun. Then
absolutely. Yeah.
Squib. On a bun.
Any shout outs, Squib?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Velveeta because it is an awesome American food product. And I'll be buying some next time I'm at the grocery store, especially for you, Rick.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
At Guns and Barbecue, the bun takes the place of the croutons. It's just croutons before they're dried out.
I can say the bun's just really, really fresh croutons.
Yeah.
Velveeta's crap.
Oh, yeah. Velveeta's garbage.
Yeah. All right. Well armed. You got anything?
Yeah, I'm doing a knife video on Friday and then a gun video comparison on Saturday or Sunday. I have to figure out when I'm going to drop it.
Oh, all right. All
right. Good.
Jason.
Please just leave me and my cheese alone. That's all I ask.
All right. Guns and Barbecue.
I got a little contest going on this week where I've come up with a alter ego for my channel that I need help naming. So if anybody wants to help do that, I've got a video that dropped this morning on it. Go over there, leave a name in the comments. If your name is selected, you'll get some little prize pack, probably some patches, maybe some stickers and stuff in there.
Okay. Night Strike.
No, nothing. Just thanks for the invite.
No problem. And I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for stopping by. I really do appreciate you spending your time here with me and us and our crazy chats, what we have sometimes. So I really do appreciate it. I'll be back on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. So I will see you all then. So good night, everybody.
Good night, Sabrina.
Bye bye.
Good night.